A year plus ago, I'm on my HOA board, 750 homes. Kind of a mess when I got there, unfortunately, but I'm still help digging that out. My wife and I contribute heavily to the Chabad of Frisco. We sponsor the Hebrew school in its entirety. It started with about 15 students. We're up to about 45 students now. Also, the Chabad, we're very engaged with. We did the Hanukkah celebration. We've been doing it for many years. Just recently, 2 years ago, it's now at the Star, and it's drawing over 2,000 to 3,000 people now. And so my wife is currently on Frisco School Board. She volunteers her time there. And so we've been here for about 12 years, and we love to give back. And my wife was my inspiration on why I ran. People ask me all the time, and I see the impact that she's made. And so I want to do the same thing. Thank you.
Thank you. And for the second question, Jared, we'll actually start with you. I think it's safe to say that this election cycle has been contentious, and much of the focus of this election season has been on the candidates. And while you're under this, you're under the spotlight today, literally, I would actually like to kind of turn the spotlight, if we could, to the people in this room, to those watching online, and to the residents of the city. And I would love for you to be able to speak to, if elected, how are you going to refocus the conversation, not on politics, but on the needs of the residents of the city of Frisco? What specifically will you do? And Jared, your first 1 minute.
So one of the first things I want to do is partner with some of the Brian Livingston, who's currently on the board, and I want to work hand in hand with the city council that is now. It has been somewhat contentious, but this question was asked to me earlier, and I believe I have the skill set. In corporate America, I had to work with folks that I didn't necessarily agree with, and they didn't agree with me, and so I think I've developed that skill, and I'm sure we can find common ground. One of the things I think the citizens of Frisco need right now is an animal shelter. 65% of Americans own a pet, and out of that 65%, 90% own a dog or a cat. We're the largest city in Texas, that does not have a shelter. We need that. I think it's important. That's going to serve more citizens than any other project that I can think of that we currently need. We're in a desperate situation. So that's one of the first items, and many others in the traffic that I want to focus on. Thank you.
As soon as I become the council member, I will first have a meeting with the mayor to ensure that I am understanding what the issues are. I will also set up a meeting with the city manager to understand where we are on some of the projects that we have already started. And I will also reach out to all the nonprofits, because the reason I'm saying it's nonprofits is because we need healing. During this election cycle, we have experienced a lot of things that we have not experienced before. The healing of the community is very, very important. If it is needed for just to have a team of 8 meeting with the city manager and the rest of the city council meetings, I will do that. If there's a need for all the nonprofit leaders, whether it is irrespective of the religion they are belonging to, I would like to call for a meeting and then see how all of us can work together. Because elections, whatever has happened, has happened. But what we need to do is our children, our families, our community need to move forward in a manner that we will be a very remarkable city moving forward. Thank you.
You can stay standing. This next question is going to begin with you. Given the recent rejection of the Frisco Center for the Arts bond propositions, what is your vision for supporting arts and culture in the city, and should this be a priority for the city and its leaders?
Perfect. As I've already told a long time ago that, I will be in the front and center to ensure and understand the needs of the community. Suppose there's a need for the community hall for about 400 or 500 capacity, then I will take that need and then, go back to the city manager and then other leaders so that there can be a private-public partnership and then take things forward. So what we have experienced is one thing from the bond standpoint, but the aims or the goals of the community need not stop. There might be several reasons why it did not happen, but it is upon us to ensure that they understand why it has happened and why it has initiated in the first step, and then what can we do in order to ensure that the needs of the communities are addressed in a very appropriate manner. Thank you.
Given the recent rejection of the Frisco Center for the Arts bond propositions, what is your vision for supporting arts and culture in the city, and should this be a priority for the city and its leadership?
Believe it or not, some of you folks probably don't understand. We're building a performing arts center, a 1,200 seat facility. It's going to be gorgeous. The project that was presented before the citizens was not a bad project in itself, but financially it was horrendous for the citizens. That's why it was rejected resoundingly by the citizens. They figured it out. They did. But that doesn't mean we can't have a performing arts center. We're going to have one. It's going to be open in a few months. I wasn't against the project itself. I was just against the way it was designed. We can rally around the current performing arts center and provide all kinds of things for residents that the other one was going to do. Don't forget, Richardson has one, Plano has one, Allen has one, McKinney's got a $300 million amphitheater. There are choices. There are choices for our citizens to enjoy. Thank you.
Jared, if you want to remain standing, the next question will start with you. So on the banner on the table which you sit, it, reads the Frisco Chamber of Commerce. So I think we have to obviously ask a question around business. And just less than a mile down the road in downtown Frisco, there's a lot of construction going on right now. What measures would you introduce to support and promote small businesses within Frisco? As an example, and another question, the second question would be, is it the city's responsibility to assist small businesses when construction or enhancement projects are conducted by the city?
I'm glad you brought that up. Recently, I visited a business downtown, and the business owner was lamenting to me and the people that was at my table saying that 9 businesses had closed. I didn't confirm the amount, but he was very upset because of all the construction that's going on down there. And he and I spoke for a few minutes, and we threw out some ideas together, and he appreciated that because he said he went before the city council and he felt like he was brushed off. That's not going to be the way I manage. People are going to be able to come to me with their problems. I can't solve all of them, but I'm going to do one thing that I think current leadership doesn't do. I don't think they listen. We need better communication. We need better communication, not just with businesses, but the local leaders. I'll mention all the endorsements I have at the end, and they all tell me one thing: there is no communication. I'm going to break that trend. I'm going to be different. And I'm going to help the citizens of Frisco. Thank you.
I have my own office in Frisco downtown, and I know what the issues are. I really appreciate what Frisco Chamber has done initially for bringing all the PTAs together, and then they have brought the receipts initiative. I would like to encourage more of such initiatives to be brought out. The businesses are really struggling, but there are some solutions. The struggle is not permanent. It is temporary, and then we need to ensure that the financial system, the banks and other things come to the aid of the small businesses so that their initial issues are being addressed. But by the time we complete the construction, by the time the roads and other things are done, taken care of, then all these businesses will be thriving. I also was part of the Frisco EDC when the Toyota Stadium reconstruction project has happened. There's more construction happening from that side. So there'll be from the commercial activity, there'll be more people coming towards the rail district and then the downtown. So all these things will help our Frisco downtown businesses. But temporarily we are having an issue, and then I would like to ensure the financial groups to come and help them.
Thank you.
We all know Frisco's growing, and with that comes people. So how will you propose that infrastructure keeps pace with development to avoid issues like traffic congestion and strained public services? And along with that, how will you balance residential expansion with traffic and infrastructure concerns?
Perfect. So when I moved here to Frisco, the population was about 55,000 people, and then the solution for traffic was to add more lanes. but now we are at 240,000 and we are likely to reach 350 or 340. So add more lanes is not a solution anymore. We need to be very smart in how we handle the traffic solutions. We have nice partnerships. I met with our traffic department engineering team, and then they said that they are doing some POCs, engaging some technologies where they will be figuring out the traffic flow based on the number of vehicles, and then have the signals to be very smart enough. Along with that, there are some tie-ups from the local organizations, local entities where the expansion or extension of the tollway and other things are also happening. So I would like to encourage such things to happen. From the residential standpoint, we are about 80% built from the residential zone standpoint, and then the commercial, we are about 20%. So the focus will be more on bringing in more commercial entities.
How will you propose that infrastructure keeps pace with development to avoid issues like traffic congestion and strained public services? And how will you balance residential expansion with traffic and infrastructure concerns?
So I spoke with the Frisco Police Association, and I asked them point blank, with a universal coming in, what's the solution to that? What are they going to be doing? And they shared with me, there is no plan. And I was stunned. I was like, what do you mean there's no plan? There's no plan. Their plan is to do overtime to manage that. And so I want to work with the Transportation Commission and try to get some more dollars. I was speaking with Jared Patterson, the state representative, and he just gave a whole bunch of dollars to parts of Denton County, but not Frisco. And I asked him why. He said, well, I don't have a relationship with Frisco. And so that's why there was no dollars that were brought in here. I'm going to try to rectify that and try to bring more. There's tons of infrastructure dollars out there. We just have to fight for it, and we haven't been. Thank you.
"14 years ago, when my family moved from Missouri to Frisco, one of the reasons why we chose Frisco to live was its diversity. And I think it's one of the things that really makes Frisco a unique city today. What will you do if elected to ensure that the diverse community voices are heard and considered in every city decision?"
So one of the things I promised some local groups is I want to do quarterly meetings, maybe not with all of them at the same time, but I've already made a commitment to many Indian groups and other groups in the city of Frisco so that their voices can be heard. Most of the time, the disagreements are because they're not being heard. And we're not always going to be able to solve all the problems. But if someone feels like they can get out what their situation is and how they feel like they're not being heard, that's all a lot of people want. We had an unfortunate incident at the polling location, and unfortunately it was targeted towards a candidate and her ethnicity, and me and my wife found it very offensive, and we spoke out. And we were hoping that other city leaders would, and they didn't, and that's a shame. And I'm going to change that. Thank you.
More than words, I'm a person of action. When we had Mayor Cheney take up the role as a mayor in 2018, he first formed an Indian Affairs Committee. Then it was felt that it is not just a connection between the Indian community and then the governance needs to strengthen. Then that spawned off into another subcommittee that was taking care of the entire community, all the ethnicities, which again spawned off into a multicultural board, which is now a formal commission under the Frisco city. So I would like to ensure that such initiatives are taken care of, and then people from all ethnicities, all areas from the world, when they're here, their functions, their festivities are all celebrated by this city. We have seen that happen here in the Frisco City Hall. And then we'll continue to do that. More and more events will happen here, right in front of our municipal hall, so that all diversities, people from all cultures will have a place here and then continue to celebrate. Thank you.
keep you on your toes tonight. So many believe that partisan politics have no place in local elections. However, many candidates have leveraged party politics as a fundamental strategy for their campaign. What is your stance on partisan politics' role at the local government level?
The state of Texas has put together a policy in place that these elections, the city elections, happen in May and not in November, because these are non-partisan elections, the school board and then city council. And then there is a reason, because the people have to be grounded, they need to know the people, they need to focus on the local infrastructure, local people, local schools and other things. That is the reason they wanted the partisan politics to be kept for the state level elections and then also the central level, the federal elections. But as far as local elections are concerned, it has to be partisan. And then as a member of this community, I have supported candidates of both the parties when I found that that particular person, irrespective of their party background, to be good for our community. I have done that before. And even now, you know, the endorsements that I get are from the local leaders, and then they are from all political parties. What is important is what's happening here locally. Thank you.
Thank you.
Many believe that partisan politics have no place in local elections. However, many candidates have leveraged party politics as a fundamental strategy for their campaigns. What is your stance on partisan politics' role at the local government level?
I agree partisan politics shouldn't be involved. I'm partnering with people, trusted local officials. People have asked me about that, and I said, well, those are the people that are elected in this area. Jared Patterson, Angela Paxton, Ryan Williams, Sheriff Murphy. Those are the people that are elected. I didn't choose them. The citizens, you guys chose them. And so I view them as not party politics. I view them as partners. How can I make the city of Frisco better? I've already reached out to them and said, once I'm elected, again, I want to sit down with you. I want to be proactive. See how we can partner together, communicate. Right now, we don't have that with the local elected leaders. And that's sad. Because these are bright, energetic people with fantastic ideas. And we need to be working with them. And so that's what I want to do. I'm not going to be looking if they're a D or an R. Thank you.
So as we get near the end of our questions, just a reminder that you do have your challenge statement or your challenge question available to you. Just wanted to give that reminder. In the beginning, we talked about and asked the question as far as what actions that you've taken to date to improve the city. The question here is, what specific steps will you take moving forward to strengthen the relationship between the city, its leaders, and its residents, improving the quality of life for all if you are elected?
I guess I have to go back to what I said before. I think it just starts with just sitting down with someone and trying to put aside our differences. What I want to do is just pick a project that's important to them first. And let's partner on that. Because I'm sure the leaders have their projects they think are important. I'm good with that. Then after that, once we build a relationship, we can move forward. Because the citizens of Frisco deserve people that are going to manage and help the residents. They're as great as Frisco is. My wife and I moved here 12 years ago. And it's still a great city, but it has challenges. We need the right type of leadership to move it forward. We need a different type of leader. Someone that can manage not just the top line, the revenue, but can also manage all the other things the city needs. And there's complicated situations that we have to do it together. No one can do it by themselves. Thank you.
I request you to repeat that again.
Absolutely. So in the beginning, we talked about what actions you've taken to date to improve the city. As a follow-up, we want to talk about what specific steps you will take moving forward to strengthen the relationship between the city, its leaders, and its residents, improving the quality of life for all. What steps moving forward?
As I said earlier, what our city needs is healing. So apart from having the meeting with the mayor, apart from having a meeting with the city manager, I would also like to have all the community members to come together in a town hall setting and then understand the needs, understand what it needs for them to thrive. What do they think about the city, and then what do they think about the future of their children, and then how they want to move forward. So what are their expectations from the governor? What are the expectations from the school board? I will also rope in our school board friends to be part of that conversation. Have also the police and fire department, have everybody in one hall, and then have the conversation start as to what we can do together to make sure that they feel very safe, they feel very secure, and they feel that this is the city they have chosen. For whatever chosen they have this city, I want them to be most happy in this place. So I will take up the initiatives that will come up from that meeting and then take it forward. Thank you.
Those are our questions, but we're now going to turn it to you. Candidates, we wanted to give each of you the opportunity to ask your opponent one question. Your opponent will have 1 minute to answer your question, and we'll go in ballot order. So Jared, you're going to start, and then we'll follow with Gopal. Jared, we would love to hear your question.
Gopal, I've noticed on a lot of speeches you talked about being fiscally conservative. Why is it that you decided to not only vote for, but you campaigned very heavily for this past November for the Frisco bond? It was a tax increase and $1.2 billion in bonds. Can you walk us through how you came to that conclusion that not only voted for it, but you actually campaigned heavily for it? Thank you.
There are something called needs and wants. There are several schools which are more than 25-year-old. The carpet needs to be changed, the furniture needs to be changed, the technology needs to be changed. We spend so much time on everything we do, and then most of the things we do is focused on the children. If the children are not having better infrastructure for them to thrive, then there is no point in whatever we are doing. So with that intention, with the students and then the children at the center of my heart, I voted to ensure that we have better facilities. It is a common thing. Having a bond is always a common thing that we do. And in this particular case, we have several schools which needed the uplift, just like we take care of our homes. And then it was not a tax increase, even though legally we have to say it is a tax increase. The state government asked us to do that. We had several schools for which we used to pay the mortgage for the last 30 years. That is ending. So we will be repurposing the same money to pay for the bonds that will be taken from this. So that was the reason I was advocating for that.
Gopal, now to you. What's your question for Jared?
Take it easy on me.
It's very important for us in a city like ours with about 240,000 people to have the community to participate in various bonds, various boards, commissions, and then various groups under the chamber. So what would you say? How would you encourage people to be part of the boards, commissions, and initiatives under the chamber so that the people will get the experience and then later on work towards running for the city office or something like that? Plus, if you have any experience in running for serving the city and the boards and commissions, can you elaborate on that?
I'm sorry.
I'll ask
How many
again.
questions was there?
Yeah.
I didn't quite understand that. So how would I encourage people to get on the boards?
Yes, and then if you have any experience on that, please explain to that.
Okay. One of the things I noticed, someone asked, how are we going to get better participation of the citizens to vote? Here's a simple thing. Why are we only open 8 to 5? When early voting is open 8 to 5, Tuesday through Saturday, that doesn't take in the needs of the citizens. Most people have 2-income families. We need to open to at least 7 o'clock, maybe even 7:30, because people are racing home. They don't get a chance to vote. We need to advertise more. We need to work through the schools. They need to have clubs and organizations. There's 50, 60 of them out there at the local high school level. And to encourage people to do boards, again, when I'm out there visiting with folks, I want to encourage them to do on boards and other things. I actually tried to get on a board. I did. I won't go into the great details of what happened, but let's suffice to say that I was told that I couldn't be because, and I quote, "This is a political position and not a skills position." And so that's why I haven't been on a board before now.
Thank you, candidates. It's now time for closing statements of 2 minutes. We're going to start in reverse ballot order. Gopal, we will begin with you. 2 minutes.
We are a population of 240,000 people. We are not a startup. We are not a small non-profit organization that if somebody has a passion, will take him as a director. We are a fully grown city. We are not a fast-growing suburb anymore. We are a fully grown city with world-class facilities. For this, we cannot have this as an on-the-job training for the leadership to be there. People who are at the helm of affairs need to have the leadership experience. I have been elected twice. I have been your leader. I was your school board trustee in 2019 and also in 2022. I have been part of the Frisco Economic Development Corporation that brings in jobs, that brings in corporates, that retains the jobs. So people with the real experience are needed to lead your city because you have chosen this city to be your place, your home. We cannot give it to somebody who is learning it as an on-the-job training. I have invested my time. I have been here for the last 21 years. My wife Viji and I have grown up here. I have spent most of my adult years in Frisco. I have a non-profit that continues to give back to the community. We have given back 50K. We'll continue to give back more towards the scholarships. We have given back 50K to the cancer clinic. We'll continue to give back. I am vested here, and then I have been serving all of you, and I have the local endorsements too, not the national level or state level endorsement. I have the endorsement from our mayor, I have the endorsement from our council members, I have the endorsement from the FISD leaders. So I'm here to serve each and every one of you with a pure heart, and I need your support to continue to serving you as your future council member. My name is Gopal Ponangi, running for Frisco City Council, Place 4. Thank you.
Fiscal responsibility and transparency. That's tossed around a lot. My opponent voted for tax increases. It was a tax increase. It said it right on the ballot. Tax increase. Before we approve bonds, we have to make sure our citizens agree and communicate to them why we need it. There was a bunch of wants and not enough needs. And that's why the citizens rejected it. That's why you need someone like me that will go in and prioritize when we need to have tax increases or bonds and when we don't. That's why it got rejected. Traffic, I'm going to be focusing on that. It is a huge problem with Frisco. It's getting worse by the second. If you think it's bad now, wait in 10 years, you're going to think it's the sweetest massage right now. Community-friendly development. We have too many apartments, way too many. We don't need that. We need starter homes. We need more retirement communities. We need better jobs. Now that the performing arts has been defeated, we need to take those EDC dollars and pump it into real jobs. Why is JP Morgan Chase in Plano? Why is Toyota there? Why is Tesla in Austin? Why is it not here? We have the dollars to recruit those companies. That's the type of jobs we need. We need AI, we need tech. Endorsements, Angela Paxson, state senator. Jared Patterson, representative. Frisco Fire, Frisco Police, Sheriff Murphy, Sheriff Skinner. Someone just told me recently, no one has ever got all four of those when they were running. They endorsed me because I'm going to prioritize public safety. That is key. People talk about it. Even my opponent talks about it. But they endorse me and not him.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, candidates. For Frisco City Council, Place 4, we will now have a brief pause while we